10 years together, she slapped me in public for another, so I blocked and deleted her forever. Saturday afternoons at Green Mart were always loud, kids crying, carts rattling, cashiers shouting over one another. Yet somehow all of that noise felt distant as I pushed the cart beside Willow. We'd done this every weekend for almost a decade. But today felt different. Willow kept checking her reflection on her phone camera, adjusting her hair, fixing her lipstick, smoothing the hem of her dress. She never dressed this nicely for grocery shopping. "Are you okay?" I asked as we moved down the produce aisle. She twirled a strand of her hair and shrugged. "Just excited." "For what?" She didn't answer. Instead, she scanned the crowd, eyes shining like she was waiting for someone. It wasn't me. My stomach tightened. Then her entire posture straightened. "There he is." "There who?" Before I could ask, Willow practically skipped forward. Standing at the corner of the aisle was Marcus Hale. Tall, gym body, the type of guy who walked like the world belonged to him. He leaned casually on his cart while two girls giggled beside him. I instantly understood. Willow had been obsessed with him for months. I caught up slowly, pushing our cart, feeling stupidly out of place. She didn't even glance back at me. "Marcus." "Hi." Willow waved, voice unnaturally bright. Marcus raised an eyebrow. "Oh hey. Willow, right?" Her smile widened like a child finally noticed by a celebrity. I stood beside her quietly, habitually, like I always had for 10 years. But Marcus's eyes slid to me, uninterested. "Who's he?" Before Willow could answer, one of the girls whispered loudly enough for everyone to hear. "Is that her boyfriend?" Willow exploded. No. No. He's not my boyfriend." She laughed nervously, waving her hands like the idea was ridiculous. "He's just someone who tags along with me. He's always around." The words punched me harder than any physical hit could. Just someone. Someone who tags along. 10 years of memories condensed into nothing. Marcus smirked, enjoying the scene. "So, Willow, you coming to the party tonight? Alone, I assume?" I clenched the cart handle, swallowing the sting. Willow glanced between Marcus and me, then stepped closer to Marcus. I can come alone," she said eagerly. My heart dropped. Marcus chuckled. "Cool. See you there." He walked off with the girls, leaving a thick silence behind. I took a breath. "Willow, was that necessary?" She whipped around, eyes blazing. "Ethan, please. I told you not to embarrass me today. Why did you follow me so closely?" "I wasn't." "Stop," she snapped, looking around nervously. "People are staring. Marcus saw you hovering over me like some lost puppy." Her words stung, but her panic burned worse. "I'm just trying to be here for you," I said quietly. She scoffed. "Ethan, you're suffocating me." My heart tightened. "We've been doing this for 10 years, since we were kids." She muttered under her breath. "And that's the problem." I froze. "What's that supposed to mean?" She didn't answer. Instead, she stormed ahead, and the moment I caught up to her at the end of the aisle, she spun back toward me with fire in her eyes. "Ethan, stop walking behind me like some." Smack. Her palm collided with my cheek so hard my head tilted slightly to the side. The sound echoed through the entire aisle. Mothers gasped. A cart rolled into a shelf. A kid stopped crying mid-scream. Willow's chest was rising and falling rapidly, her face twisted with panic and humiliation. And she wasn't looking at me. She was looking over my shoulder, where Marcus stood, watching from a distance. That's why she slapped me. Not because she was angry, but because she wanted to impress him. To show him she wasn't with me. To prove she wasn't attached to someone who tags along. The betrayal hit me like ice water running down my spine. I slowly straightened. My cheek stung, but my heart was numb. I looked at her, really looked at her. The girl I grew up with. The girl I protected from bullies in elementary school. The girl whose tears I wiped every time a boy broke her heart. The girl I had loved silently for 10 years. All I saw now was someone who didn't value me. I gently removed her hand from my shirt where she had grabbed it. "Willow," I said quietly, voice steady, "I hope that slap was worth what comes next." She blinked, confused. I turned, leaving the cart behind, leaving everything behind. Each step felt heavy, but freeing. People stared as I walked out of the store, some in pity, some in shock. I didn't look back. By the time I reached my apartment, I had already made my decision. 10 years or not. A heart can only break so many times before it stops begging to be understood. I sat on the edge of my bed, opened my phone, and took a deep breath. Her name was everywhere. Messages, photos, memories, birthday videos, late-night confessions, silly selfies. All of it. Delete. 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 Block. A soft final click. Her number vanished. The moment I put my phone down, a strange calm washed over me. The kind you feel after surviving a storm. I whispered to the empty room. It's over, Willow. Sunday mornings were usually peaceful. Mine was shattered by the relentless buzzing of my phone. At first I ignored it. I lay on my bed, staring at the ceiling, letting the weight of yesterday settle over me like a heavy blanket. But the buzzing didn't stop. When I finally checked, there were 37 missed calls. Not from Willow, because she was blocked, but from literally everyone else. Her best friend, Nadia. My cousin. Our high school classmates. Even our old neighbor, Mr. Jaden, who barely knew how to use his phone. I sighed. Of course word had spread. Small towns had mouths bigger than their borders. I opened my messages. Nadia. Ethan, what did you do? Willow is hysterical. Call me back. My cousin. Bro, did you really block her? What happened? Old classmate. Heard she slapped you. Tell me it's not true. Her mom. Ethan, sweetheart, please talk to me. Willow is not herself. I dropped the phone onto the bed. Of course she wasn't herself. She'd gotten caught in her own chaos, and now she didn't know how to clean it up. But I wasn't going to rescue her this time. Not anymore. The world reacts before I do. Around noon, I went to grab breakfast at a small cafe near my apartment. As I stepped inside, I could feel the stares burning into me. Whispers followed like smoke. That's him? But they were together for years. Heard she slapped him in front of everyone? She was with Marcus, wasn't she? Poor guy. I wasn't used to being pitted. I straightened my shoulders and ordered my usual coffee. The barista, a girl Willow used to chat with, hesitated before asking gently, "Are you okay?" I forced a small smile. "I'm fine." But she could see the lie. She lowered her voice. "She shouldn't have done that. Everyone knows you always treated her like gold." I didn't know what to say, so I just nodded. As I waited for my drink, the cafe door swung open. My best friend, Leo, stormed in, breathless, hair messy like he ran the whole way. "Ethan," he shouted. Every head turned. I closed my eyes. Great. Exactly what I needed. He marched straight up to me. "Why didn't you tell me?" "I had to find out from Nadia that Willow slapped you?" "In public. In front of Marcus. I didn't want to talk about it." "Well, too bad." He grabbed my arm and dragged me to a table. "You're talking now." I sighed, rubbing my face. "Leo, please. I'm exhausted." He stared at me for a long moment, then let out a slow breath. "You okay?" "No," I admitted quietly. "But I will be." He nodded, looking down. "Man, I'm sorry you went through that. After everything you've done for her." I didn't respond. The town takes sides. By evening, the whole town had formed opinions. Some people blamed Willow. She always took Ethan for granted. He worshipped the ground she walked on. Some blamed me. He shouldn't have blocked her so quickly. Maybe she was just nervous in front of Marcus. And others didn't know what to think. But the loudest voice came from someone unexpected. Willow's mother. A call that changed the mood. At 7 p.m. I got a call from an unknown number. For a moment I considered ignoring it, but something told me to pick up. "Hello. Ethan. Dear, it's Mrs. Brooks." I straightened immediately. "Ma'am?" She sighed heavily, voice tired and strained. "I won't take much of your time. I just wanted to check on you." Her kindness nearly broke me. "I'm okay," I said softly, "but thank you." There was a long pause. "Ethan. I don't know what's going on with Willow lately. She's been obsessed with this Marcus boy and trying too hard to impress him." Her voice shook. "She came home shaking yesterday. She wouldn't tell me everything, but I know my daughter. I know when she's done something foolish." I swallowed hard. "She slapped you, didn't she?" she whispered. I didn't answer. Her mother's breath hitched. "Oh, Ethan. I'm so sorry. That girl, she doesn't understand the value of what she's losing." I stared at the floor. "These things happen," I said quietly. "No," she said firmly. "This shouldn't happen. Not to you." My chest tightened painfully. She continued softly. "Whatever decision you make, I want you to know, you don't owe her forgiveness. Not this time." I closed my eyes. Those words, coming from Willow's mother, felt heavier than the slap itself. "Thank you," I whispered. "Take care of yourself, dear." The call ended. The storm before the confrontation. As night settled, the messages kept piling up. More questions, more gossip, more pressure. But not a single message from Willow. Because she couldn't reach me. I wondered what she was thinking. She felt guilty. If she regretted it. If she blamed me. Or if she still thought I was petty. 3 hours later, just as I sat on my couch trying to clear my mind, bang, bang, bang. Someone was pounding on my door. A familiar voice shouted from outside. Ethan, open this door right now. Willow. Her anger, her desperation, her confusion. Everything was about to explode. And that confrontation would change everything. The pounding on my door didn't stop. Bang, bang, bang. Each hit was harder than the last, vibrating through the walls of my small apartment. Ethan. Willow's voice cracked. Open this door. Don't you dare ignore me. I closed my eyes, took a slow breath and walked to the door. My hand hovered over the lock. Part of me wanted to keep it shut forever. Another part, a small, stupid part still clinging to 10 years of memories, wanted to face her. I unlocked it. The instant I pulled the door open, Willow shoved her way inside like a storm bursting through a fragile window. Her hair was a tangled mess, mascara streaked under her eyes, and her breathing was uneven, like she'd been crying and screaming on the way here. She slammed the door shut behind her. What is wrong with you? She shouted. I stared at her calmly. Hello to you too. She pointed a shaking finger at me. How dare you block me? I blinked slowly. Pretty easily, actually. She gaped at me, disbelief twisting her features. You blocked me everywhere. Calls, texts, social media, everything. She clutched her chest dramatically. I had to borrow someone's phone just to come here. Sounds like a rational consequence, I replied coolly. Her jaw dropped. Ethan, are you serious right now? All this over a slap. There it was. The line that would set everything on fire. I crossed my arms. So you admit you slapped me? Well, yeah, she stuttered, but it wasn't a big deal. You're a man, Ethan. Men are supposed to be strong. Don't be so sensitive. I raised an eyebrow. So if Marcus slapped you, I should tell you to stop being sensitive? That's different, she snapped. How? She opened her mouth, then closed it again. I don't know, she stammered. You're just blowing this out of proportion. I stepped closer, my voice low and steady. And what about what you said the day before? She froze. All the anger draining from her face. What are you talking about? She whispered. You know exactly what I'm talking about, I said. You told Marcus that I tag along with you. That I'm just someone who follows you around. That I'm not your boyfriend. Her lips trembled. You heard that? Every word, I said. Silence swallowed the room. Willow took a step back, shaking her head. No, Ethan, please. I didn't mean it like that. Then how did you mean it? I asked sharply. Because it didn't sound like a joke. It didn't sound like something you regretted. You said it twice. She pressed a hand to her forehead. I was nervous. Marcus was staring at me weird and I panicked. And threw me under the bus? I finished. I didn't think you'd hear it. I laughed softly. So it's only bad because I heard it? Not because you said it? She flinched. A tear slipped down her cheek. Ethan, we've been together for 10 years. You know me better than anyone. Can't you just let this go? You always let things go. There it was again. Expectation. Not regret. Not accountability. She expected forgiveness because I always offered it. I leaned on the wall, arms crossed. Willow, for 10 years. I put you first. And every time you hurt me, I let it slide. I told myself you'd grow out of it. She swallowed hard. I am growing. I'm trying. No, I said quietly. You're not trying. You're trying to keep me in your life without having to treat me better. She flinched again like my words were physical blows. Her voice softened. Ethan, baby, don't be like this. You know I didn't mean to hurt you. You're still my comfort person, my safe place. I stepped away from her touch. Willow, you don't get to call me that anymore. She froze. Her eyes widened. What do you mean? The air grew colder. Even the hum of the refrigerator seemed to stop. I'm done, I said. You slapped me in public because Marcus was watching. Before that, you told him I was nothing to you. And now you want me to pretend none of that happened. Her chest rose sharply. So, you're really ending things? Like that? Over one mistake. One mistake. I scoffed. This wasn't one mistake. It was the moment that showed me the truth. Her voice cracked into a whisper. What truth? That you only value me when I'm useful. But when someone you want attention from shows up, I become disposable. Willow's knees buckled slightly. She grabbed the edge of my table to steady herself. Tears streamed down her face now, real tears, not dramatic ones. "Ethan, please," she whispered. "I know I messed up. I know I was horrible. But don't walk away from me. You can't." "Why?" I asked softly. "Because you need me? Or because you love me?" She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. And her silence was louder than any slap. She finally choked out, "I don't want to lose you." "You already did," I said gently. She looked like I had stabbed her. Willow didn't scream this time. She didn't insult me. She didn't deny anything. She just stood there, broken, shocked, and completely stripped of the confidence she always had around me. After a long moment, she whispered the smallest, weakest question. "Can we at least talk tomorrow?" I shook my head. "There is no tomorrow for us, Willow." Her breath hitched painfully. And for the first time in 10 years, I watched her walk out of my life with tears streaming down her face. This time I didn't follow. The day after Willow stormed out of my apartment, silence wrapped around me like a heavy blanket. But outside that silence, the world was loud. Loud with whispers. Loud with judgments. Loud with opinions about a story none of them truly understood. I woke to more missed calls, some from people I hadn't spoken to in years. But none from Willow. Because she still couldn't reach me. And somehow, that hurt her more than the slap hurt me. Willow begins to crack. By noon, Leo texted me. "Leo. Bro, she's losing it." I ignored it. 2 hours later. "Leo. Nadia says Willow didn't sleep. She's been crying nonstop since last night." Still I ignored it. But at 3 p.m. as I stood in the kitchen making tea, I saw a shadow outside my window. Then a soft knock. Tap, tap. "Ethan? Are you in there?" Willow. Her voice was hoarse, as if she'd been crying for hours. I didn't move. "Ethan, please," she whispered. "I know you're home. Your car is outside." Still I stayed silent. A shaky laugh escaped her lips. "Okay. You want to ignore me? Fine. I get it. You're mad. But, please just talk to me." My chest tightened. She sounded small. Fragile. Nothing like the confident, fiery Willow who slapped me in front of Marcus. But I didn't open the door. Because if I did, I knew I'd break. And she didn't deserve that kind of power anymore. After a long stretch of silence, her voice softened to a painful whisper. I miss you." I closed my eyes, hand trembling on the counter. Then she said something that made my heart twist sharply. "Please don't replace me." Replace her? She wasn't afraid of losing me. She was afraid of someone else taking her place. But I didn't open the door. Eventually, I heard her sniff, then slowly walk away. I stayed still until her footsteps faded entirely. Her attempts turned desperate. The next morning, I found a folded note on my doormat. "I'm sorry." Just 2 words. The handwriting was shaky and wet with dried tears. Later that day, another note. "I shouldn't have slapped you. I was stupid. Please talk to me." And then, "Can you at least tell me you're okay?" I placed them all in a drawer. Not to keep, but because throwing them out felt like throwing fuel into an emotional fire I wasn't ready to ignite. Friends start taking sides. By midweek, the entire friend group was in chaos. Nadia messaged me. "Nadia. Ethan, please talk to her. She's been a mess. She won't eat. She won't sleep." Me. Not my responsibility anymore. Minutes later, Leo chimed in. "Leo. You're doing the right thing, man. She crossed a line she can't come back from." Others were less supportive. "Classmate. You really blocked her? That's harsh. You've always forgiven her." A coworker. "Maybe she was embarrassed?" Girls get weird when they like someone else. Everyone had something to say. Everyone had an opinion. But the only opinion that mattered now was mine. Her anger returns. But it's different this time. Thursday night, around 11 p.m., there was another knock. A harder one this time. I opened the door halfway, not letting her in. Willow stood there under the dim hallway light. Her hair messy. Eyes swollen. Clothes wrinkled. She looked like she hadn't slept in days. And she wasn't angry anymore. She was empty. "Ethan," her voice cracked, "why are you punishing me like this?" I stared at her, feeling nothing and everything at once. She sniffed, wiping her face with the back of her hand. "I know what I did was horrible. I know I shouldn't have slapped you. I know I shouldn't have said those things about you. I wasn't thinking." "You were," I said quietly. "You just weren't thinking about me." Her lips trembled. She took a step forward. "I can change." I shook my head. "Willow, change isn't a switch you flip. It's a choice. And you only choose it when consequences show up. She let out a long shuddering breath. Why are you being so cold? You've never been cold to me. I looked her straight in the eyes. Because you've never deserved my kindness less than you do now. She clutched her chest like the words physically hit her. The first time she realizes she's losing control. Willow had always been confident. Spoiled by attention. Certain I'd always forgive her. Sure that no matter what happened I'd stay. But now, she saw a version of me she didn't recognize. A version she couldn't manipulate with tears. A version she couldn't control with guilt. A version who wasn't waiting for her to come back anymore. And that terrified her. Her voice shrank to a whisper. Ethan, do you hate me? I swallowed hard. I don't hate you, Willow. But I can't keep hurting myself to make you comfortable. Her lips parted, breath shaking. Then she whispered the one question she never thought she'd have to ask. Are you really done with me? I nodded. Yes. She staggered backward like I'd hit her. No screams. No insults. No excuses. Just silence. She wiped her face, turned away and whispered. I'll come back tomorrow. Maybe you'll feel different then. But for the first time, even she didn't believe her own words. She walked away slowly. Not angrily, not dramatically, but like a person who had finally realized that the things she took for granted might be gone forever. And she was right. The entire cafe went silent the moment Willow's voice cracked through the air. You blocked me everywhere? She screamed, her eyes wide with disbelief. Just because I slapped you? Are you really that petty, Rowan? People pretended not to stare, but everyone did. Even the barista paused mid-pour. I didn't flinch. I just stared at her, at the woman I had loved since I was 13, the woman who once promised we'd never drift apart, the woman who now looked at me like I was the villain. Petty? I said quietly. Is that your explanation? She crossed her arms defensively. You're a man, aren't you? Men shouldn't hold grudges like this. It was just a slap. A slap in public, I cut in. Because another man walked by. Her lips pressed together, unable to deny it. Why him? I asked. Why did you feel the need to impress him by humiliating me? It's not what happened. Oh. I leaned forward slightly. Then what exactly did you think slapping me would do? Her jaw worked, searching for an excuse. Her voice rose again. You're making this into some huge drama. I told you I was sorry. Why delete me? Why cut me off like I'm nothing? Her words hit me harder than the slap ever did. Like she was the one who was wronged. Like I was the unreasonable one. I laughed once, a cold, hollow sound. Willow, the slap was nothing compared to what you said the night before. Her face froze. Instant panic flickered in her eyes. The panic of someone who suddenly realized their secrets were no longer safe. I don't know what you're talking about, she whispered, taking a step back. You don't? I asked, raising an eyebrow. Should I remind you then? She shook her head slowly, as if hoping I wouldn't continue. As if hoping I didn't hear anything that day. But I heard everything. I remember the way she laughed with her friends, the way she tossed my name around like a joke, the way she called me. I exhaled sharply, forcing back the bitterness. Willow, I said quietly but firmly, you told someone the only reason you kept me around was because I made you look loyal and stable. That I was the safe bet, while you chased after someone more exciting. Her mouth fell open. She stared at me stunned, then suddenly angry. Who told you that? She snapped. So you admit you said it. Her face paled instantly. No, I mean, that's not. She stumbled over her words, panic growing. You weren't supposed to hear that. Is that supposed to make it better? Her lips trembled. Rowan, stop. You're twisting everything. Twisting. I stepped closer. I heard you with my own ears. You call me your backup plan. You said you'd settle for me if your real chance didn't work out. Tears gathered in her eyes, but I couldn't tell if they were from guilt or from being exposed. People say stupid things when they're pressured. But you meant it, I whispered. Every word. She shook her head weakly. Rowan, I didn't want you to know. And that was the moment everything made sense. She wasn't sorry. She wasn't ashamed of what she said. She was only upset that I found out. I straightened slowly, my entire chest tight, not from heartbreak but from acceptance. That's why I blocked you, I said quietly. Not because of the slap, but because I finally realized I was the only one who took our 10 years seriously. Her voice cracked. I didn't mean to hurt you. But you did, I said. And I won't let you do it again. She reached out to grab my sleeve, desperation flashing across her face. Rowan, please? I I stepped back. For the first time in 10 years. And the look on her face told me she finally understood. I wasn't coming back. Willow stood frozen in the center of the cafe, hand outstretched, eyes trembling. I walked past her without looking back. For the first time in 10 years, she wasn't the center of my world. And she felt it. Everyone felt it. Whispers rippled through the cafe the moment the door closed behind me. Did Willow just get dumped? After all those years? He looked done. Willow heard them. And the humiliation she once forced onto me, now wrapped around her instead. She tried to call, but every door was already shut. The moment I stepped outside, my phone started vibrating. Dozens of notifications, messages begged for attention from unfamiliar accounts. Unknown. Rowan, please. Please talk to me. Unknown. I'm sorry, okay? Can we meet? Just once? Unknown. Why did you block me everywhere? What did I do that's so unforgivable? I exhaled deeply and powered off my phone. 10 years of giving everything. And now I was giving myself silence. Meanwhile, Willow crumbled. Inside the cafe, Willow sank into the nearest seat, her knees trembling so visibly the table shook. Her best friend Mira rushed to her side. Willow, what happened? Everyone's staring. He blocked me, Willow whispered, voice cracking. Mira blinked. He what? He blocked me everywhere, Willow repeated, her eyes reddening. Even my email. Even my backup account. Mira slowly sat down, shock softening her face. Maybe he's really done this time. No. Willow snapped, hands trembling. Rowan can't be done with me. He's always waited. He always forgave me. He promised. Then her voice dropped to a trembling whisper. He said he would marry me one day. Mira hesitated. You slapped him, Willow? In public. And what you said the night before, she swallowed. Anyone would be hurt. Willow's breathing hitched. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean any of it. Mira stared at her carefully. Then why did you say it? Willow didn't answer, because she didn't have one. She had always assumed I would stay. No matter what. That I would take her cruelty, her indecision, her embarrassment, her confusion, even her betrayal. But for the first time, I didn't. She started realizing what I meant to her. That afternoon, Willow locked herself in her bedroom. Pictures of us, photos from high school, messy selfies, festival snaps, were spread across her bed. She stared at them like they belonged to a stranger. A tear dropped onto the corner of one photo. One where she was smiling at me, not at the camera. Why did I say those things? She whispered to herself, voice breaking. She clutched the photo to her chest. He liked me for 10 years. And I acted like he was disposable. I didn't think he'd actually let go. Her phone buzzed. She grabbed it desperately, only to find it was Mira again. Willow, are you okay? Do you want to talk? No, Willow whispered. I want Rowan. But wanting something doesn't make it yours. And Willow learned that the hard way. That night, her other man made it worse. Her heart already in chaos, Willow forced herself to go out to clear her mind. She ran into the very man she slapped me for, Darren. He smiled at her, oblivious to the emotional storm she was drowning in. Hey Willow, you okay? She forced a smile. I'm fine. Just tired. Darren shrugged. If this is about your friend, don't sweat it. Guys like him cling too hard. You did the right. Stop, Willow snapped before he could finish. Darren blinked. What? Willow glared, tears burning in her eyes. You don't know him, she whispered. You don't know anything about him. Relax, Darren scoffed. It's not that deep. Willow stared at him with a coldness that surprised even herself. It is, she said quietly. It always was. She walked away. And for the first time, Darren looked confused, not because he cared but because Willow wasn't reacting the way he expected. Because she finally realized. She lost someone who truly loved her, for someone who never cared. And somewhere else. I finally felt free. I sat by the river, the wind cold but comforting. 10 years of weight lifted off my chest. For the first time, I wasn't waiting for a message from Willow. I wasn't wishing she would choose me. I wasn't hoping she'd see my worth. I was breathing. Truly breathing. Though a part of me still hurt, another part whispered, this is the beginning of something new. Something better. And Willow? Willow was finally learning that letting me go was the worst mistake she had ever made. Willow showed up at my apartment door 3 days later. Her hair was messy, her eyes swollen from crying, and she clutched a notebook, her old diary. The same diary she once hid from me in high school because it's full of embarrassing things. Now she held it like a lifeline. When I opened the door, she sucked in a shaky breath. "Rowan, please. Just listen. One last time." For a moment, I considered closing the door again. But 10 years of history deserved an ending. Not a second chance, not forgiveness. Just closure. I stepped aside. She entered quietly, like someone walking into a place they no longer had the right to be. "I found something you need to see." Willow sat on my couch and placed the diary on the table between us. She pushed it toward me with trembling fingers. "Open it," she whispered. I hesitated, but the look on her face wasn't manipulative, angry, or defensive like before. It was defeated. So I opened it. The first page I saw wasn't something recent. It was a messy, childish confession from years ago. "I think I like Rowan. Maybe too much. But he's too good for me. I'll probably ruin him." My chest tightened. I flipped the page. "I'm scared. If I choose him, I'll lose him. If I don't choose him, I'll still lose him." My hands froze. Willow wiped tears from her cheeks silently. "I liked you first," she whispered. "Maybe more than you ever liked me. I just never knew how to handle it." I swallowed hard. "Then why?" "Because," she interrupted, voice breaking, "I didn't think I deserved you." Her confession wasn't an excuse, it was a truth she'd buried. Willow hugged her knees as she spoke. "My family was a mess, Rowan. My relationships were worse. I kept choosing guys who treated me terribly because it felt familiar, because you were too steady, too honest, too real." She looked at me, eyes filled with pain. "And I thought if I accepted your love, I'd break it." I stayed silent. She breathed shakily. "That night with my friends, when I made that stupid joke about you being my backup plan." Tears slid down her face. "I said it so they wouldn't tease me about liking you again. I lied because I was embarrassed to admit you mattered to me." And the slap. Her voice cracked completely. I panicked. Darren walked by, and I wanted to look strong in front of someone who didn't matter. I hurt the one person who did. She covered her mouth to stifle a sob. I have never regretted anything more. But some truths come too late. When she finally looked up at me, her expression was raw and fragile. "Do you hate me?" she whispered. I shook my head softly. "No, I don't hate you." Her eyes glimmered with desperate hope. "Then can we?" "But I don't love you anymore." The hope shattered instantly. Willow stared at me like I had stabbed her, like the words emptied every corner of her world. "I waited too long, didn't I?" she whispered. I nodded. "You didn't lose me because I stopped caring," I said quietly. "You lost me because you never did anything to keep me." A sob slipped from her lips. She tried to reach for me, but my heart was no longer there. Willow slid off the couch and kneeled in front of me, her hands gripping my knees. "Please, Rowan, don't do this. I can change. I'll do anything. Anything." I gently removed her hands. "That's the problem," I said. "You're only trying to hold on now that you've realized I let go." She looked destroyed. Is there someone else?" she whispered. "No," I answered truthfully. "There isn't." "Then why can't we start over?" "Because," I said softly, "I finally learned to choose myself." Willow shook her head as tears dripped onto the floor. "I thought you'd always wait for me," she whispered. "I did," I replied. "For 10 years. The goodbye that ended everything." Willow stood up slowly, legs trembling. She looked around my apartment one last time, at the space where she once thought she belonged. Then she stepped toward the door. Her hand lingered on the knob. "Rowan," she said softly without turning, "if you ever find someone who treats you the way you deserve, I hope she loves you better than I ever could." I stayed silent. A single tear slid down her cheek. "Goodbye," she whispered. And she walked out. For the first time, the door closed quietly behind her, not slammed, not stormed through. Just closed. Like an ending finally accepted. And as she left, another beginning appeared. Later that night, as I stood on the balcony watching the city lights, my phone buzzed with a new message, from a number I didn't recognize. Unknown. "Hi, Rowan. I met you at the riverside 3 days ago. You lent me your pen. You said I should keep it because every ending starts with a new beginning. I hope this isn't too forward, but would you like to get coffee sometime?" I read the message slowly, and for the first time in 10 years, my heart felt light. I typed back, "Sure. I like that." Because Willow's chapter was over, and mine was finally beginning.